This is CBS 46 News at 4. Getting results.
God be with you, John Lewis. Job well done, faithful servant. Job well done.
John Lewis returns home to his district one final time for one final farewell.
Sports and the coronavirus. An epidemiologist talks concerns and what athletes need to know.
And playing amid a pandemic, the Braves host their home opener in a very different Truist Park. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Rick Fulbaum. Glad you're with us. Let's get right to our top story. Atlanta and the state of Georgia saying its final farewell to Congressman John Lewis. He is lying in state in the rotunda of the state capitol in Atlanta, and people have been lining up outside all day waiting to pay their final respects. The congressman's body arrived at Dobbins Air Reserve Base in Marietta just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. An honor guard moved his casket from the plane to the hearse that carried it alongside a special route to the state capitol. The motorcade then left the Air Force Base with several special stops that were planned on the way to the Capitol building, stops in places that hold special meaning to the congressman and his family. The City of Atlanta Fire Department put up an American flag over the road to fly over the hearse carrying Representative Lewis on its route.
People lined the rainbow crosswalks in Midtown where the motorcade paused, the first of its special stops on the route. The motorcade also stopped at the Hero mural of John Lewis and its powerful image of his legacy and the lasting mark he left on our country. The sound is faint, but you could hear cheering. People cheered for the congressman as the honor guard again took up their positions to carry him to his place of honor inside the Capitol. Governor Kemp and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms there to accompany his casket inside. We do have live team coverage this afternoon of the events, and we begin with CBS 46's Haley Mason, who has more on the special ceremony held this afternoon inside the Capitol honoring Representative Lewis. Haley, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sean. We are live outside of the state capitol where people have lined the block all around the corner here to get inside the capitol to pay respect to late Congressman John Lewis, who is now lying in state. I'll take a step out of the shot and allow you to see these lines of people just filing in with their cell phones in hand, their masks on at the request of the family, coming in to say one last farewell to Congressman John Lewis, who is lying in state for the evening right now inside the state capitol. We were here earlier, just a couple hours ago, reporting live as the motorcade carrying the congressman's body pulled up to the front of the state capitol, and the honor guard in step carried him through the front entrance of the building one last time. Governor and First Lady Kemp, as well as Mayor Bottoms and State Representative Calvin Smyre, stood to welcome Lewis's casket. And outside, people from all over the city came to get a glimpse of this piece of history. This is truly a piece of American history. Inside, there was an invitation-only ceremony of lawmakers and family and friends that took place before the public was welcome in. Governor Kemp gave the first statewide remarks.
May his words, actions, and legacy continue to serve as our country's conscience. The prayers of my family and all Georgians are with Congressman Lewis's family, his loved one, his staff who worked so hard on his behalf, and all of us that he inspired.
And outside, you see people who have come inside the Capitol and come back out are now signing this card. It is a human-sized sympathy card that says, "With deepest sympathy from all of us." This card has traveled to Troy, Alabama. We were there when it arrived. It has traveled to Washington, D.C., and it is now back in Atlanta. We are told it will go inside the Smithsonian Museum in honor of this weekend commemorating Congressman Lewis's life. We'll bring you more on the remarks from inside the Capitol as we report live outside here as people pay their respects. Reporting live in front of the state capitol, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Thank you, Haley. Now, the 6 days of remembrance of John Lewis ends tomorrow in Atlanta with one final celebration of his life.
CBS 46's Ashley Thompson is live in Atlanta with details on that. Ashley.
And Rick, what an incredibly moving day it has been so far. Earlier this afternoon, the congressman's motorcade actually passed by here on Auburn Avenue, right in front of the Hero mural. And if you take a look, you can see people down there still taking pictures, leaving flowers, and just trying to pay their respects. But looking ahead to tomorrow, there will be a celebration of life at Ebenezer Baptist Church. That starts at 11 a.m. Now, it will be closed to the public because of COVID-19, of course, but it will be streamed. And we've learned that 3 former presidents are scheduled to attend that service. Former President Barack Obama, President Bush, and President Clinton. Everyone who is in attendance is being asked to wear face coverings. And during the service, right when it starts at 11 a.m., churches and houses of worship from across the country will ring their bells for 80 seconds, and that is to honor Lewis's 80 years of life and service. And following that service, there will be a private ceremony at the Southview Cemetery. Now, this is a predominantly black cemetery in Atlanta. It's also the final resting place of other civil rights leaders, and it was actually founded in the late 1800s when black people couldn't bury their loved ones with the dignity and the respect that they deserve. So there are some other notable black people who have their final resting place in that cemetery. Of course, you can count on CBS 46 News to have team coverage of all of the events, not only today, but tomorrow as well. For now, I am live in Atlanta. Ashley Thompson, CBS 46 News.
Ashley, thank you. And speaking of tomorrow, you can watch tomorrow's service right here on CBS 46 and also on our CBS 46 streaming app.
Well, we began the day with cloudy skies and some very heavy downpours, and look at the way it has shaped up. Not too bad. That's why you can never get down on summer weather. It changes so quickly here in Georgia. Live look at Lake Lanier, 88 degrees in the lakefront, feels like 92. Would be a nice day to be out in Hall County. We are seeing some very spotty showers, nothing strong, nothing severe, not even any lightning. Zooming out, that's the case all across the southeast. There's tropical moisture in place, and it will be in place tonight and tomorrow as well. But the threats for strong storms are very low. We're not going to see a whole lot of lightning. We're not going to see strong winds. We may see brief downpours just until sunset, but overall, it looks pretty good for the rest of the evening. Just a few passing showers. Overnight tonight, it will be cloudy. We'll begin the day tomorrow with cloudy skies, and we're going to see scattered thunderstorms through the entire day. The difference with tomorrow is we could see some strong storms. There is a level 1 risk for severe weather, especially to the north of the city. I'll pinpoint the timing of these storms coming up just after the break.
Thank you, Ella. Get pinpoint weather and traffic with our CBS 46 app. Download the free CBS 46 app in the Apple App Store or on Google Play.
We are just a few hours away from the opening pitch on opening night at Truist Park. Seemed like this was never going to come, but this is not like any other home opener for the Braves. Sports director Fred Khalil is live at the ballpark. Fred, even the fake fans are out there.
You know what, this is a great day no matter what, because opening day is always fun, and certainly it's different this year, but there's some big news to tell you about. Nick Markakis, you know, the Braves outfielder who plays about 150 games. The guy plays every day. He opted out of the season. Well, now Markakis has opted back in. We have not seen tonight's lineup, but expect Nick Markakis to be in the lineup, maybe not tonight, but very soon. So Nick Markakis back with the team. That is the big news today. And this is, I'm just going to call her Edna Fan. This is where one of the fans are. David Page, our photographer, is down there, and you know, look at there's where all of Edna's people are, right down there in the lower bowl. This is Edna Fan right here. So having a great time tonight. And the Braves, as I said, are back here. It's opening night. In any other year, the park would be opening right about now, but because of the pandemic, no fans for these games. But let's show you what it looked like last year for opening day. Fans in the Battery ready to get an ice-cold, frosty libation and watch the Braves. But there is still some optimism despite the 2-3 start. It is the first chance for Braves fans at home to watch their team in Truist Park in 2020. So opening night tonight, always exciting to be with the fans. And it's exciting, really, guys, that Nick Markakis has opted back in because he's an everyday player, left-handed bat, and a guy that is really very good. Actually, from Woodstock, Georgia, went to Woodstock High School.
It'll be great to have him back in that lineup. Good news for Braves fans. Say hello to the one that you're standing with. Maybe buy her a beer for us, will you? And enjoy the game a little bit later on, Fred. We'll talk to you soon. Sports this year obviously looks different, but do doctors think it looks different enough? in order to be safe playing during a pandemic. That's coming up next.
And take a look that's going on in the tropics. Our next storm is forming. It will have an impact here in Georgia. I'll show you its track coming up after the break.
And let's take another live look at the Georgia State Capitol, where Representative John Lewis will lie in state tonight. It is open to the public until 7, then again from 8 tonight until 8 tomorrow morning. Social distancing and wearing a mask is encouraged. We'll be right back.
Enable the CBS 46 skill on your Alexa device and get local news and weather updates anytime directly from CBS 46.
And welcome back to CBS 46 News at 4 o'clock. If we take a look at a beautiful shot of Lake Lanier, you got the big puffy clouds there and the bright blue skies behind it. Meteorologist Ella Dorsey back in just a couple of minutes with your pinpoint forecast.
But first, many Georgia hospitals are struggling because of COVID-19 infections. Total hospitalizations from the respiratory illness have remained above 3,000 for 10 days in a row. 25 Georgia hospitals reported no critical care beds available. Not all critical care patients have COVID-19, though. Right now, 88% of the state's critical care beds are in use, tying the highest level since the pandemic began.
As the Atlanta Braves host their first home game later tonight, some health officials are watching closely to see how MLB teams are impacted by playing during the coronavirus. CBS 46's Brittany Edney spoke with an epidemiologist at Emory University about COVID and sports, and she joins us now with some analysis on the risks that these athletes are taking. Hi, Brittany.
Good evening, Rick. Well, Major League Baseball, unlike a lot of other sports, they're currently playing the current season outside the bubble. Basically, that means that all of the staff and players, they're still living at home with their families. This is completely different and a separate strategy from a lot of the other sport leagues that are playing inside the bubble, meaning they're sequestering entire teams at one location. The epidemiologist we spoke with says overall nationally, they've seen that bubble plans have really been effective. Although he adds that to maintain this effectiveness, there has to be constant vigilance on the part of all of those teams because you have to make sure that players and staff follow all of those rules. And while some sport fans point to other professional leagues worldwide that are not sequestering teams, this expert believes that's because those countries have done a better job of just getting their coronavirus numbers under relative control. Also adding that the recent outbreaks in MLB shows robust testing and also detailed safety protocols can't completely combat COVID contraction. He also tells me that right now bubble plans really are the most responsible and safe way to bring sports back into the U.S.
MLB essentially tried to run the Bundesliga's playbook, and it did not work as well here so far as it has in Germany. I mean, the outbreak on the Marlins is unlike anything we've seen in any other countries returning professional sports leagues.
And he also admitted that while those bubble plans can be expensive, really it just provides those players and staff and all of the workers the best chance to reduce the risk of contracting the coronavirus. Reporting live in Atlanta, I'm Brittany Yedney, CBS 46 News.
Now at 4 from the live desk, we are working to confirm reports that a chairman of a U.S. coronavirus subcommittee is challenging Governor Brian Kemp for not complying with COVID-19 task force recommendations. Preliminary reports indicate Democratic South Carolina Representative James Clyburn is alleging that Kemp did not follow at least 6 recommendations. That includes mandatory mask mandates as well as limits on indoor dining. The state would have to produce documents to prove compliance. We are working now with the governor's office. Look for updates tonight on CBS 46 News. Right now from the live desk, Alicia Roberts, CBS 46.
Now, CBS 46 Pinpoint Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Take a look at these current temperatures. Areas that have seen rounds of rain today are hanging out in the low 80s. 81 in Carrollton, 83 in Atlanta, 82 in Cartersville. Feels great outside. Meanwhile, Dalton, Athens sitting in the low 90s. That is the difference. And that is the reason that you shouldn't be too sad when there's rain in the forecast in the middle of the summer. It just dries things off, and it's usually not an all-day event. We're just seeing very isolated showers on the map, nothing strong. And really, in fact, there's not really a lot of lightning embedded in these showers. A few are going to work their way out of Douglas County towards the city of Atlanta, areas like West Midtown, Smyrna. Probably going to see some brief rain soon, and then up into the mountains we go. Towns County, Clay County, North Carolina, Shooting Creek area, definitely seeing some rumbles of thunder in those higher elevations. But overall, we'll hang on to a mix of sun and clouds through the evening and low-end rain chances. And look at this. Temperatures remain very mild in the 70s. That's really nice. I expect the sky to be beautiful around sunset tonight, 8:40 p.m. Look up in the sky. A lot of pinks probably and some purples up there. We're going to hang on to pretty stormy conditions, pretty unsettled weather. The reason for that is a stationary front that's just going to sit over us, causing stormy conditions for the entire southeast. And here in Georgia, we are under a level 1 risk for severe weather tomorrow, especially north of the city. Areas could definitely see some strong winds embedded in storms. So you wake up tomorrow, it is cloudy again. Already some rain out there early in the morning. So there's a chance for these showers, heavy downpours at times, lasting throughout the day. However, the chance for the stronger storms will come through the afternoon. At about 4 p.m., you can see a more organized line of thunderstorms moves its way in from Tennessee. This moves down into the city at around 6, probably 7 p.m., right as you're making dinner, and then down south of the city after 7 p.m. So through the afternoon and evening, that's when our chance for stronger storms will occur, probably between about 3 and 8 p.m. By 9 p.m., it is mostly dry outside. So about a 70% chance of rain tomorrow. We begin to see drier air work its way in for the weekend, and the weekend does look nicer. Saturday will be the driest day of the week. However, next week, we could definitely see some more tropical rain. The reason for that, potential cyclone 9. It is kicking west. It's moving so quick at 23 miles per hour, so it hasn't been able to organize itself. So it's not a named storm yet, but it's likely to become a named storm tonight or tomorrow, passing right over the Dominican Republic. The new track on this storm is tracking it further west. So right now, it's going to track to the south of the Bahamas as a tropical storm, remaining in open water and then curving up the Gulf Coast of Florida this weekend into early next week. Now, again, there's still a lot of unknowns with this system, so we will have to watch it develop over the next couple of days. So again, the shift west is now tracking it into the Gulf. It will ride up the Florida coast on Sunday at this point. Georgia may see impacts next Monday and Tuesday. So definitely something we're going to have to continue to watch, and we will have updates as they come in. But you should plan on a pretty stormy next 7 days, except for the weekend, which looks really nice.
Thank you, Ella. Coming up, we have new details after this massive fire breaks out following a train derailment in Arizona. And that's not all. The impact to the city and airport traffic as well.
Okay. Breathe for me. Breathe for me.
Some really tense moments here as body cameras capture officers frantically working to save a toddler pulled from a backyard pool. How they turned a near tragedy into something so much different. Later on CBS 46 News at 4.
And this is a live look once more at the Georgia State Capitol, where Representative John Lewis will lie in state tonight. It is open to the public until 7 p.m. and then again from 8 tonight until 8 tomorrow morning.
Enable the CBS 46 skill on your Alexa device and get local news and weather updates anytime directly from CBS 46.
You got to come take a look at this. Smoke could be seen for miles as a fire burned where a train derailed over a town in Arizona this morning. As many as 10 train cars derailed. Part of the bridge then collapsed and caught fire. Amazingly, the crew not hurt. The fire burned for hours and planes flying in and out of the Phoenix airport had to be diverted around the smoke.
Wow. Oregon's governor said today that federal U.S. agents are to begin a phased withdrawal from Portland after the night after another night of clashes with protesters. The agents will start leaving tomorrow. The acting Homeland Security Secretary said in a statement that the plan includes what he calls a robust presence of Oregon State Police in downtown Portland. Those troops have been very controversial. The U.S. says it will pull 12,000 U.S. troops out of Germany. 6,400 will come home. 5,600 will be shifted to other countries in Europe, including Italy and Belgium. It does leave 24,000 troops in Germany. The plan will cost billions and take years to complete.
Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden may announce his vice presidential candidate as early as Saturday. He is choosing from a group of women, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris, Congresswomen Val Demings and Karen Bass. There is some speculation Biden will choose Harris after he was photographed holding handwritten notes with her name at the top. Biden's campaign has not commented on that note.
Hey everyone, I just want to talk to you real quick about something I've been working on lately.
And today, Michelle Obama kicking off her new podcast with a familiar guest, former President Barack Obama.
Wow, how'd she get him?
Well, you know, it's all in the family. In the debut episode of the Michelle Obama podcast, the couple talks about how their neighbors helped raise them growing up and how this helped them understand the importance of community. The former First Lady's new podcast is available on Spotify.
Well, a local mother charged in the death of her infant child facing a judge today. Coming up next, the judge is ruling on the woman's request for bond.
And police say this guy lost it when a store employee asked him to follow new rules about wearing a mask. His tantrum caught on tape.
And let's take another live look outside in a beautiful skyline of our beautiful city. Meteorologist Ella Dorsey back in a few minutes with the latest on some storms that may be coming to your area. Your pinpoint forecast is next. You're watching CBS 46 News at 4.
And let's take another live look inside the Georgia State Capitol, where lines are forming as Georgians and people from all over the country have come to Atlanta to pay their final respects to John Lewis, who is lying in state tonight. It is open to the public until 7, then again from 8 tonight until 8 tomorrow morning. Social distancing and wearing a mask is mandatory. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Today, Atlanta remembers and says its final farewell to John Lewis. As we take another live look at the Georgia State Capitol, Congressman Lewis will lie in state there tonight, and those who want to pay their respects will have the opportunity to do that until later this evening, Sean.
And a ceremony was held this afternoon in the rotunda of the Georgia State Capitol for Congressman Lewis. Several people spoke, including Governor Brian Kemp and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. The congressman's body will lie in state, as you mentioned, Rick, until 8 tomorrow morning, and mourners can pay their respects. Tomorrow morning, though, at 11, a celebration of life service for Congressman Lewis will take place at Ebenezer Baptist Church. 3 former presidents, are expected to attend, including President George Bush, President Barack Obama, and President Bill Clinton. Also, Democratic presumptive presidential nominee Joe Biden expected to attend as well. We'll bring that to you live on CBS 46, both on air and online. And we want to thank you for staying with us for CBS 46 News at 4:30. It has been a somber but a day of remembrance.
That's true. And there is also another thing that's significant in a much, much different part of our world, and that is the world of sports. And the weather in sports. Ella, it is opening day.
Sports? I mean,
Yes.
Who would have thought? You know, my favorite S word ever that we haven't gotten much of these last couple months, right? Yeah, baseball. Another word I think everyone can just put a smile on your face, right? It's back. Braves are home today. Live look over the city. Definitely some clouds, but we're seeing some patches of blue sky. And because of the rain, it's not too hot. 83 degrees outside right now. Now, there are a few spotty showers across Metro working their way towards Truist Park, so there might be some passing rain in the next few hours, but it's not going to be a washout at all, and we're not going to have that extreme summer heat that we're used to at the end of July. So by first pitch, it's 80 degrees outside, only a few showers. I do not expect rain delays tonight. So if you're going to watch the game from home, you can plan on the game actually happening at 7:10 tonight. Mostly dry, really nice. It'll be a great night to watch from a distance. Right now, tomorrow, not going to be great to be outside through the evening. Scattered thunderstorms are very likely, and it won't only be in the evening. In fact, it's going to be all day that we see a chance for on and off heavy rain and storms, but the storms in the afternoon and evening may be strong to severe. I'll let you know the biggest risks with these storms tomorrow coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, Ella, I'm with you. Excited about baseball tonight. You can get pinpoint weather and traffic alerts sent right to your phone. Download our CBS 46 streaming app. It's free in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. An Atlanta mother is charged with murdering her 3-month-old baby. 21-year-old Tiana Phillips, police say, ran her car into the baby with the baby inside. You can see the mangled mess that was left after that collision. CBS 46's Bobeth Yates has more now on Phillips' first appearance today in front of a judge.
Yes, Tatiana Phillips appeared in court via video screen where she heard her charges and was denied bond. It only took a few minutes for a judge to decide whether Phillips would be released from jail while she waited for her court date. And the judge said because of the severity of her actions, bond would not be considered at this time. Phillips rammed her car into another one driven by her child's father, with her 3-month baby inside, killing the child and sending the child's father to the hospital. The incident happened on Chapel Road near Easton Street. There's no updates on the child's father's condition. No date has been set yet for her next court appearance. Bobeth Yates, CBS 46 News.
Bobeth, thank you. Take a good look at your TV screen right now. Do you recognize this man? Duluth police, they want to find him. They say after an employee at Sprouts told him to wear a face covering in the market, he got into a verbal altercation with that employee and then threw a shopping basket at her, hitting her in the stomach. The man took off before police could arrive. They say if you know who he is, they want to know.
Georgia continues to see a surge in coronavirus cases and deaths. And tonight, more than 178,000 people are battling the virus, an increase of more than 3,200 from just this time yesterday. Virus-related deaths are also up 79. Georgia, one of 21 states the White House Coronavirus Task Force has designated as a red zone. That's because of the high number of cases. And it's warning that 5 nearby states could soon be joining that list. Dr. Anthony Fauci says those states should act now, doing things like taking steps like closing bars. In Brevard County in Florida, nearly 300 high school graduates have been told to quarantine after someone who attended their high school graduation Saturday tested positive for the coronavirus.
Time is running out for lawmakers in Washington to pass a new coronavirus relief package before unemployment benefits expire for millions of people. A serious hangup is Republicans can't even agree with each other, let alone with the Democrats. Tucked in that Republican bill, nearly $2 billion put in by the Trump administration for a new FBI building.
We have that in the bill. It should stay.
Two senior Republican senators have said that the Republican proposal would be lucky to get even half of the Republican conference to vote for it.
A new CBS News poll shows 64% of Americans think the U.S.'s efforts to handle the virus are going badly. 57% say specifically the president is doing a bad job.
Still ahead, a Confederate monument taken down overnight in Henry County. Why some feel the removal of the controversial statue is very emotional.
And here's another live look inside the Georgia State Capitol, where Representative John Lewis lies in state. Tonight it is open to the public until 7, and then again from 8 tonight until 8 tomorrow morning. Our coverage continues right after the break.
Enable the CBS 46 skill on your Alexa device and get local news and weather updates anytime directly from CBS 46.
We're glad you're with us. Demolition crews worked through the night to try to bring down a Confederate statue in Henry County as protesters, both for and against what they were doing, had gathered. CBS 46's Tracy Bragg was also there.
What remains of this Confederate monument in the center of McDonough Square is the #1 photo op in this small town today. It's also the first topic of debate after county officials voted for change.
I live in the neighborhood. This is my first time living here for 6 years. I've ever even stopped on this square. Obviously, the symbols of Confederacy kind of caused a little bit of angst.
Demolition crews hired by Henry County officials began removing the statue Tuesday night.
This is progress.
For some, seeing the carved stone removed from its perch is an emotional sight.
Being a military veteran, it is sad to me that a monument that stands for military veterans was removed.
Jim Banaski believes the Confederate statue should remain where it's been since 1911. However, he's eager for a discussion.
I would rather talk to somebody about why they're offended, what is it that really bothers them, and have that discussion versus talk about a piece of marble.
Well, it's history, but it's a history that is a painful history for African Americans. And so that's the issue. The issue is that they want to respect it as being their heritage, and it could be their heritage, but it's also a part of our heritage, which is a terrible part of our history, which is slavery.
Miguel Lloyd says the marble reminder of that painful history belongs in a museum, not the center of town.
To have to be able to have to drive by this every day and be reminded of that history is something that is just disrespectful to this community.
County officials tell me the statue will remain safely stored in storage for now, but I want to mention something else. My photojournalist Ishmael Payton and I actually discovered this second Confederate monument here in the park. This one was actually donated by the Daughters of the Confederacy. I asked county officials if they plan to remove this monument as well today. They tell me no, for now this one will stay right here in the park. Reporting in McDonough, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.